Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
The Daily Compliance News for April 19, 2021, the drug makers in an opioid trial edition. We begin with that story as 4 drug makers are slated to go on trial Monday in California over claims they fed the opioid crisis in a proceeding that could help finalize multi-billion-dollar settlements between state and local governments and pharmaceutical companies. The case is just the second to go to trial out of the thousands of similar lawsuits accusing the drug industry of fueling the opioid crisis that has killed nearly 500,000 people since 1999. The trial, set to begin by video conference, includes Johnson & Johnson, Teva Pharmaceutical, Allergan, and Endo International, claiming they ran misleading marketing campaigns that played down the risk of opioids addiction to boost sales of the chemicals, or rather powerful pain-filling prescriptions. Next up, from the Wall Street Journal, working from home has created a hole that office gossip used to fill. Really no surprise there, because what people want to do is chit-chat. They want to interact. And what better way to do so with office gossip? The thread of a whispered conversation and conjecture that once flowed through the workplace has obviously dwindled. Detached from our work friends and forced to type out our thoughts, we're finding that putting gossip in writing is definitely more risky, weirder, and hard. So everyone has something to say, and do they have the chance to say it? So it's really about, I think, socialization more than gossip, although heaven knows people love to gossip. Next up, from the New York Post, they asked a question of whether JPMorgan forced out a trader who cooperated with a federal probe. JPMorgan treated indicted employees better than an executive who cooperated with federal regulators, according to a recently filed lawsuit. Commodities trader Donald Turnbull claims in court papers he was abruptly fired from the bank's precious metal tradings group as soon as execs discovered the extent of his cooperation with the DOJ. The DOJ indicted 6 Morgan traders for spoofing in 2019. Turnbull was not one of them. He did give the DOJ significant multi-year lapses in JPMorgan's trading oversight mechanism and enforcement judgments. So we have a whistleblower who claimed that he was fired for whistleblowing. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. And our final story is Peloton, which is fighting back against U.S. warning of treadmill dangers. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission said it is aware of 38 injuries and 1 death related to Peloton's tread and machine. The company claims the product's safe. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission issued an urgent warning. The agency said those with small children should stop using the machine, and warning that the Tread Plus posed risks to children, including abrasions, fractures, and even deaths. Peloton said that given the hazard patterns that have been reported involving children in homes, a public safety warning is inaccurate and misleading. The company said there was no reason for consumers to refrain from using the machine, adding that safety instructions should always be followed. Of course, treadmills are always dangerous if you're not paying attention, but if you have children who accidentally turn them on, yes, those can be dangerous. And typically we haven't seen these ubiquity of treadmills at home for personal use, although they've been around for quite some time. So it will be interesting to see how this plays out. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.